For families looking to maintain relationships during legal proceedings, supervised visits can be the only form of contact, but in large swaths of the state, that human contact is off limits because of limited local programs or prohibitive costs. In recognition of this dynamic, which can stretch on for years because of the backlog in family court, Democratic state lawmakers are pushing for funding in the state budget, as well as a statewide program to administer supervised visitation in New York, and would also require local governments to submit reports on their needs to support these visits moving forward. For more on the problem and how it should be addressed, we're joined on the Capitol Press Room by Sheila Schwanekamp, a retired court attorney referee from the Integrated Domestic Violence Courts and a member of the New York State Coalition for Supervised Visitation. Thanks for making the time, Sheila.
Thank you, David. Glad to be here.
So, for listeners who aren't familiar, a judge might order supervised visitation to allow a non custodial parent to spend time with their children in a safe environment. But making that option available isn't a guarantee that parents will actually be able to take advantage of it. So, can you explain what the current barriers are, including in those counties that have programs that are designed to help facilitate these types of connections?
Yes, thank you, David. So, actually, having retired from my position as a court attorney referee in the 8th Judicial District, Western New York, including over 25 years in the Integrated Domestic Violence Courts, I saw firsthand the adverse impact on children, domestic violence survivors, and families who do not have a stable, safe, affordable, and accessible supervised visitation program. In 2022, the Office of Court Administration established a working group to look into this issue because it's a statewide issue. And we've been working on this consistently, such that in 2025, we came to find that 32 out of 62 counties in New York State do not have access to supervised visitation programs. And in those counties that do, there is an incredible wait list of at least 6 to 12 months, if not more. And this has prevented cases from being resolved, from families being able to move on forward, and most of all, it's prevented children from being able to see their parents. And this is a significant program that's been going on for a long time, but it's even getting worse.
In those counties that don't have a program, does that mean that the non-custodial parents can't potentially bring in some sort of outsider, some sort of recognized overseer to facilitate those types of visits, or are they just out of luck?
Well, in those instances, judges feel that it's very important for children to have a relationship with the parents. And they may be forced to rely on a third party, such as a family member or a family friend. The issue with that is that in a lot of these cases where you have domestic violence, you may have noncompliance with mental health or substance abuse issues. These people do not have any training in trauma, the trauma that children are experiencing in those instances due to the exposure to those issues that the parents are having. And many times we've seen that these third parties are not able to really control the conduct of the non-custodial parent that's visiting with the children. Or in other instances, they may feel, that they're aligned with that parent because that's their child if it's a grandparent. We've also seen in instances with third parties that there are many supervisors who are proposed who may have been an abusive parent themselves towards the parent who is being charged now with domestic violence. So it's really an unsafe situation in so many instances to use a third party. And that's why having someone who is trained, understanding trauma, understanding safety issues is so important for families that are facing these issues.
Well, can you walk us through the response that you think will address the statewide problem that we're talking about, both in terms of the funding that you're looking for at the state level, as well as the establishment of a comprehensive supervised visitation setup?
Absolutely. You know, what is needed is dedicated funding for supervised visitation, for high quality, free statewide supervised visitation in every county in New York State. It's critical not only for the families, but the children, the backlogs in the courts, and to have this funding. Right now, the proposal is for $20 million, which would, provide a program in each county or help expand the need in the counties that currently have a supervised visitation program. But it's important that these programs are also overseen by the state, that there's recognition of the differences in the needs of each community, that there be a needs assessment for each county, because what's happening in a city may be different. There may be transportation issues. There may be issues with the need for interpretation. So the needs for each county need to be assessed. And then there needs to be, guidelines for programs that are receiving these funding so that the programs are safe and affordable.
And in terms of that affordability aspect, are you envisioning there still being some sort of out of pocket expense to families? Or is it the case that you think the investment at the state level and maybe what the local governments can pony up would take care of all the costs?
What the New York State Coalition is looking for is a free statewide supervised visitation program. Um, Other programs, because the cost of these programs right now for families just make it cost prohibitive. I mean, we've heard instances where there's been charges of $300 an hour for these programs, and it's absolutely imperative. But what we are excited is that there is, in addition to the New York State Coalition for Supervised Visitation, which includes judges from the Office of Court Administration, attorneys for parents, attorneys for children, domestic violence survivors, supervised visitation programs. There's also tremendous outreach from groups such as the Women's Bar Association of the State of New York, who have been such strong supporters of, of the efforts over the past several years. And we thank them, the executive committee and their legislative committee. And then in particular, Assemblyman Hevesy has been a champion for this issue. And the assembly, there's an assembly bill. And just the other day, Senator Shelley Mayer came out with the Senate version of the bill championing this bill in the Senate. They're also, and everyone is asking not only for the bills to be supported, but that there be this funding, because the funding is absolutely critical. There's been programs over the years that have started up, but they can't be sustained. And this is a critical resource that's needed in every single county in New York State for the safety and the welfare of children and families.
Well, finally, even if you do get everything you want this legislative session and in the budget, I imagine the state won't immediately have all the bodies they need to supervise visits given the increased demand. So, what challenges would there possibly be about building out capacity, and what sort of time horizon are you looking at for maybe full implementation?
Well, David, courts throughout the state have been working on this issue for a long time and thinking outside of the box. And I would cite to Western New York again, where I'm from, in Buffalo, Erie County Family Court Judge Mary Carney has been working with the University of Buffalo School of Social Work in trying to expand the access so that MSW students our interns, could be used as interns. And that's a program that we've been looking at for a while. And the UB School of Social Work has been very, very involved and, very interested. And just, again, thinking outside of the box to bring people in, to train them, and to have the expertise so that these programs are safe and affordable. But I think that there's ways to expand it by use of interns, who have supervisors who are trained.
Well, we've been speaking with Sheila Schwanekamp. She is a retired court attorney referee from the Integrated Domestic Violence Courts and a member of the New York State Coalition for Supervised Visitation. Sheila, thank you so much for making the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, David. And we appreciate the support from everyone who's been involved, and we'll keep moving forward to make sure that this effort that has bipartisan support comes to fruition. Thank you.
Support for Capitol Press Room comes from National Fuel, working to help customers understand what drives energy bills, from taxes and state-mandated programs to market-driven price increases for natural gas, which utilities don't profit from. More information at betterplansnobands.com.
And by New York State United Teachers, a statewide union of nearly 700,000 professionals in education and healthcare.